Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. I'm just going to have a quick episode for you guys this week going over the conference championship games. I will be dropping another episode tomorrow going over the NFL. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. We have BYU going up against Texas Tech. Both of these teams are coming in hot. The number right now is sitting at 12.5 with the over-under of 49. They do have an earlier meeting this season in which Texas Tech beat them 29-7. BYU scored late in the game to kind of break that zero, but it really was a Texas Tech dominant win. Texas Tech rolled the entire game just like they have against everybody else. They had that one slip up against Arizona State, but you haven't seen much of that since then. I'm liking Texas Tech minus the 12.5 in this game. Texas Tech, I think, is just too much. BYU doesn't stack up against them well. They're a run first offense, smash mouth, downhill, and Texas Tech is loaded in the box. So if BYU finds themselves in a scenario where they're down 2 scores early, I think you could be in for a rout because I just don't think they're going to have what it takes to come from behind. Looking at the total is 49.5. I do not think it's going to get over 49. But like I just said, both these defenses are good. BYU is not going to be able to put up points at a premium. Texas Tech's defense is way too good. And I think when Texas Tech gets up in this game, they're not really going to be too worried about running up the score. I think they're going to have a little bit of respect for their conference opponent in BYU, with them also having a chance to make it into the college football playoffs, depending on what happens in the SEC championship game. So, yeah, I'm going to be taking Texas Tech minus the 12.5 and the under in the Big 12 championship game. Rolling right along into the SEC championship game, we have Georgia going up against Alabama. They do have that earlier meeting in the season in which Alabama goes into Athens and upsets Georgia on the road. It's kind of a weird game because Georgia played really, really bad and Alabama played really, really good, and they still barely snuck out of there with a win. I do like Georgia in this game. I think it's hard enough to beat a good team like this once, and you're going to ask a team to beat them twice. The one thing Alabama does have on their side is it's win or go home for them. If they lose this game, they're more than likely out of the playoff after they have those 2 earlier season losses to Oklahoma and Florida State, which weren't too impressive, especially with how Florida State finished the rest of the season. So I think Georgia corrects it this game, and they go out and they throttle Alabama. I think this could be a throttling. Ty Simpson hasn't looked too good in the late stretch. He had a really good beginning and middle of the year, but these last few weeks he's kind of been turning the ball over a lot. It hasn't quite cost them because they haven't really been playing anybody. They had the cupcake the last game of the year. So I'm riding with Georgia minus the 2. As far as the total, sitting at 48. I'm not too sure. I do think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think Alabama could fall behind early, and it kind of be too much for them to keep up with. So if I had to lean to a side, I would probably take the under in this game. But I'm not confident enough to lay any money down. In the ACC championship game, we have a barn burner. Duke against Virginia. We've been touching on it as long as we've been doing this show. The ACC has been a dumpster fire all year. It goes to show you there's a perfect example. Duke is in the conference championship game at 6-5. I mean, that's kind of a tragedy to the conference. And as an ACC homer, I do think the ACC should be left out of the playoff this year. They just haven't produced a good enough team to make the playoff. And I understand we don't want to see the whole SEC conference making it into the playoff, but we're just not deserving of a spot in the playoff. I'm liking Virginia minus the 4, and I understand I'm taking all favorites today, basically. So if you don't like it, if you're a dog better, you're not going to like this video. But I got to go with what I'm seeing. I got to go with the favorite again in this game. Virginia's offense can put up some points. I don't know if Duke's going to be able to keep up, but I do see it being a one, maybe two possession, 10-point kind of game. The over-under is high. It's at 57.5, so Vegas is thinking both these offenses are going to be able to put up some points. If I had to lean to a side in that game, I'd probably take the under. 57.5 is kind of high. Both these teams kind of have a lot on film right this time of the year. So there's not going to be too much left up for surprise. Both these teams are going to know what they're getting themselves into. So I would lean the under in the ACC championship game. Yeah. And the most intriguing matchup of the night, number 1 versus number 2, Indiana versus Ohio State. I really don't agree with them playing this game. Not that I don't agree with the conference championships. Obviously, it means a lot. It meant a lot in the past. But you have both these teams coming in, top teams in the country. They're going to play. The loser of this game is going to get taken out of the top 4 in the country. And it's not deserving of that because these are the 2 best teams. They've shown you that throughout the season, and they deserve to be number 1 and number 2 in the playoff. But that's not what we're going to get. Once again, I'm going to go with the favorite. I like Ohio State minus the 4. I'm kind of looking at this as a coin flip game. But with how Ohio State's looked over the last 2 years, I mean, besides that loss to Michigan, they've been the best team in college football. And I think I'm going to go with you until you prove me wrong. So I'm leaning Ohio State in this game. The over-under is sitting at 47. I do like the over. I think both these offenses are going to be able to put up some points. I understand Ohio State's defense has been pretty much unpenetrable all year, but I do expect Indiana to have a little bit of fight in them, and I think this is going to be a close game. I could see like a 31-27 kind of game, something like that. So yeah, that's all I will have today for the conference championship games. I will touch a little bit on the Lane Kiffin saga. How could you make a video in this era and not talk about Lane Kiffin? But yeah, he takes the job. He's out at Ole Miss. He has a terrible exit at Ole Miss. Ole Miss fans are upset. But look, if you followed Lane Kiffin at any time of his career, this is what Lane Kiffin does. He's going to leave as soon as anything flashy or high-flying comes open. This is in his track record. I do agree with Ole Miss not letting him coach in the rest of the season because you can't have him with the team for another month and a half, 2 months, just poaching all of these guys to LSU. He tells the coaches, look, either get on me with this plane or you're not coming. A lot of the guys stick behind. I will be surprised if after the year he doesn't go and take these guys because those are his guys, and right now he has nobody. So it's going to be hard to get on the recruiting chair and recruit these kids to a system they don't even know what they're going to be running. Also, another head coaching job that kind of jumped out at me, I thought was kind of funny, was Brian Hartline leaves Ohio State to go to South Florida. He's probably down there recruiting these kids so much, he's like, look, I might as well get a house down here and stay and coach this team. I think it's a real interesting hire. He's been an OC at Ohio State for a couple years now. He's been in that system. He's developed all these great wide receivers. So I think he's going to use this USF job as a stepping stone, and I think we could see him at a big-time program here in the coming years. Nothing too much jumps out. Like I said, I will be dropping another video tomorrow covering the NFL games. As always, if you leave us a like, comment, and subscribe, we appreciate everybody coming and watching the video. Have a great, profitable weekend, and God bless.